It's Voices. It's Hot 93.7, hot937.com. Big man here. And ladies and gentlemen, you know I always talk about tapping into your greatness, doing some great things. And I've been highlighting, ironically, for the last 4 or 5 weeks, all women, right? And so because of that, I stumbled across this young lady here through, I got to give my guy DJ Michi the props for this one, because he was like, yo, you two have to meet. You have to meet. And I'm like, let's make it happen. We spoke for what, 5-10 minutes? And I was like, nah, you gotta come to Voices. You gotta come to Voices. And she is here. And listen, this is her name. She builds things. All right. What's going on?
What's up?
Oh man, I'm excited to have you on now. Let's get behind the name first of all. She builds things.
Okay.
Builds things like what?
I mean, you name it, I can give you anything that you want, from renovations in your home to personal, different things like mobile fireplace console, anything that you could think of. I could redo bathrooms, kitchens, everything. That's why I put it at things, because I could just do about everything. Plumbing.
No, she's not calling someone else to do it. She's doing it. You know, and this is it's great to highlight this because it's a little bit different. You know, most times when people think about, you know, having someone come out to work on their home, let's be honest, they're always thinking it's going to be a guy showing up. And you know, you're going to have you come out there and they're like, man, what's she going to do? And then the finished product is like, hold up. So how did you get into this? Because this is so different.
Yes. Well, honestly, I got into it about 10 years ago, I want to say. I was definitely into this on my own homes and my own apartments that I lived in. I just didn't like the way that it looked sometimes. And I would ask the homeowner or the landlord that I was renting from, hey, can I, paint? And they say yes. And I'm like, okay, I got that. If it looked good, hey, can I do this? And they said, okay. And, just baby steps into it. And always watching HGTV all the time. I mean, if you came to my house, every single TV, if I was home that day, was on that. So I didn't miss any second of it. So that's how I really got the interest. It was just a hobby. I was heavily in the medical field for a while, for about 6-7 years. And even then, working third shift, I was watching HGTV, wanting to do things. I remember when I was 19, my first time that I ever did anything, I was living at home with my mother, and I just redid her bathroom. I was tired of that shower, and I asked the landlord, and the landlord was like, are you sure you know what you're doing? And I was like, yeah. And I did that, and I was just like, I could probably do a little bit more. And as time went on, I just started to do some research and just self-taught myself how to do different things. But the major turn came when I actually moved to Virginia about 5 years ago. And when I lived in Virginia, I went to get a job, not in the medical field no more. I went to get a job at Home Depot. So when I went and got hired, I was so ecstatic, because honestly, still to this day, I say that is my favorite job ever. So shout out to Home Depot, Virginia Beach. Literally, that's where She Builds Things was definitely birthed. I got into contact with about 2 to 3 male contractors that they knew I was eager. They definitely seen it in me that I wanted to learn, that I wasn't just somebody that just was like, oh, I could make things pretty. I also signed myself up for school out there in Virginia. I went to school for about 3 semesters, and I learned things like space planning, some electrical things, and things that I definitely needed to do. Business planning, I did business. And working under those men, I was put into the field, and I was going to school, and I was getting the product knowledge at Home Depot. So I was just literally on focus mode, and you couldn't tell me nothing. Then I started buying tools. I was always in my garage, literally just doing something, just doing until 10 o'clock at night, midnight, just all the time, just honestly learning and wanting to keep growing and keeping my focus. Because prior to this, if you knew me, I'm a hustler. I was doing hair, couponing, selling dogs, doing everything. So now being able to focus all of my energy to this field, which has many different avenues, like I said, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, you can do masonry, everything. And as you said, I do the work. So I can put all my energy out there and literally try to touch on all bases, roofing, framing, decks. You can check it out. I've done all of that. Yeah.
Crazy. I'm loving it. I'm loving it because it's so outside the box, and it's intriguing to me because I am not the handiest person at all. Mainly because I don't have the patience for it. So I'm quick to be like, you know what? No. As soon as I mess something up or scrape something the wrong way, I'm like, nah, you know what? Call the professionals in. But for you to, first of all, his voice is Hot 93.7, hot937.com. Big Man here. She builds things. Make sure you follow her. That is her name on social platforms, right?
Yes, sir.
Buildz with the Z, things. She builds things. Make sure you follow her. Now, the intriguing part about this is I've gotten into real estate and stuff like that, and I've met some very, very interesting people and heard some very interesting stories by far, and I don't know why, but this story just like caught my attention. When Nietzsche was telling me this, he was like, yo, she's a contractor, she's doing her thing, man, she's adding on the houses, she's doing renovations on houses. I'm like, really? I said, so you mean she has a team? He was like, nah, bro, she's doing it, bro. I was like, oh, really? Let me call her and see what this is about. And that's when, you know, we jumped on the phone and you started breaking it down to me, and I was like, oh, she's really about this. Wait a minute. This is what I'm talking about. So, I mean, I really, really, really am blown away by your story because it is so outside the norm. It is so outside the norm. Now, what were some of your roadblocks along the way? Because I know coming into this industry that is pretty much male dominated, let's talk about those roadblocks and how you got through it, because this is a bit of a backstory here on Voices. That is one of the main things that I talk about, people overcoming their obstacles. And when someone, you know, when they have that roadblock, sometimes they may want to give up, but they continue to push forward. And it's that thing internally that says, you know what, don't give up, keep going. Sometimes people will give up on themselves. How did you, or what was it? Well, first of all, let's talk about the roadblocks, and then let's talk about what it was, if it was a team of people or if it was just something internally that said, you know what, don't give up. You're right there, don't give up. You got this.
Definitely. Well, the roadblocks, they're there, and definitely they still coming, but thankfully, class of 2006 at Wilby High School, I did run the hurdles, so I know how to jump over them things.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? I am definitely blessed to overcome them, but definitely the roadblocks that I have endured from, like you said from the beginning, this heavily dominated by male industry is number one, case in point. I am a female. I am a Black female. I am a Hispanic Black female. You know, the list goes on with where the limitations kind of I get, are you sure you're going to be able to do this at, you know? And I have been in the same room as people that have used me for that as their advantage, but then at the same time used it against me. So those roadblocks, I can give you an example where I was working for a gentleman and he definitely had me go and get the customer, the pitch and everything like that as far as getting the contract. When I got the contract, I sold that bathroom. I didn't know the numbers or anything like that. I just let them know what it looked like, what I could make it look like. And, you know, they were intrigued that even like I was the female builder. I shop all the material as I was told, you know, just put it on, he'll do the phone sale, yada, yada. I come back to do the work. I do all the work. Then he's bird feeding me the funds rather than, and I understand, you know, when you're doing subcontracting work, you are given a number. That is not what he was doing with me. He was giving me more of an hourly rate, and I was literally losing money at, you know what I mean, because he was banking more money because he had the overhead, the deposit, the materials included, the shopping fee, whatever, all that stuff that I had to learn later on that, you know, 2 years later, because I've been in business now 2 years, I'm learning from those roadblocks as we're talking about as well. Another roadblock that I used to get, I used to show up, and I understand, I used to drive a Ford Focus. So I had a little 2003 Ford Focus, and I'm telling you, that car would do what I needed to do. I was going back and forth with material, back and forth. I did what I would put the straps on that car. I would be hauling sheets of plywood on the top. I'll be lugging flooring inside the car and in the trunk. Whatever I had to do to get wherever I had to get. And that sometimes was a barrier because if it wasn't inner city, sometimes even my car was, like I said, the Ford Focus wasn't reliable. But thanks be to God, this year I actually upgraded and I got an SUV now. So it's not so much my work vehicle, but it's a bigger vehicle. But, you know, I'm still working it, you know what I mean? Because that's what I got to do.
Exactly.
But those definitely were obstacles. Other parts about giving up, I mean, let me tell you, sometimes when I'm definitely a single mother of 3 children, and having to make sure that I keep food on the table and or a roof over our head. I did tell you I relocated from Virginia Beach. That big move was a big financial thing as well, and just making sure that I maintain, you know, what they need and their needs as well. So those obstacles, you know, they come and go. So my overcoming is now what I'm learning is the fact that I got a network. I know I do the work. I do all the work, but you know, when it comes to those financials, I need to reach out to someone that does finances so that I'm not going crazy. Because as a business person, small business too, yeah, you wear all the hats in the beginning, but as you start learning and growing, you realize that you don't need to wear all those hats. And yes, you do need help, and you do need other people to help you. And like you said, I am definitely always trying to build this team, but I can never find another she. So if there's another she out there, I would love to have them to come with me. But as of right now, like I said, I definitely work with myself and my boyfriend as far as getting the work done. And then before this, it was myself and my children. I definitely had my kids on work with me. And that was an obstacle where I couldn't say no to the job. And it was like I needed more hands. And I have a 16-year-old. He's definitely capable and definitely 100% trained on many things. He has tiled the bathroom with me. He has done a deck with me, and definitely my 12-year-old has well. So, you know, I definitely have had the small business obstacles where, you know, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And that's how I could label what I've been through. And I thank God that I've been through it and that I made it through it, because without him and without my children and, you know, some other supports that I get along the way, my praying mother, honestly, I won't be right here, you know, talking to you, you know, talk to me that day. I would have gave up a long time ago, but thank God I did not.
Yes, she builds things, man. It's voices. It's Hot 93.7, hot937.com. This is the type of stuff that I love because it's very motivational. It's very inspiring. And I know just from, you know, doing my own business ventures and stuff, I know there were those sleepless nights and stuff like that, waking up in the middle of the night like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Am I crazy? Who do I call? Who can I talk to? Maybe pacing the floor in the middle of the night, you know, sleeping like 2 hours because you're just up and can't figure it out. Let's go back to like your first big project that you did on your own. What was that experience like, going in and throughout the process and finishing that?
So, okay, it's like this project, I honestly utilized everything that I said to you that I was a natural hustler about before in order to get this job done. So, you know, when people always say, you're young, you still have the rest of your life. I just told you I did, you know, hair, I did couponing, I did this, I did everything. You know what I mean? I was in the healthcare field. To switch over to this part of the avenue, you know what I mean, is definitely a big part. So what I did as far as for my first job, they asked me because they had a doorway that they needed to be done over. They said, can you do that? You know, because we need someone to do the trim. And I said, yeah. And they said, how much? And it was on the fly, how much? And at that time, I didn't know you don't spit out numbers. You know, at that time, I was just like, oh. So, you know, what I did, just to think ahead, was I don't have a nail gun. So I need to make sure that they, you know, that I got to buy a nail gun. So then I got the price of the nail gun, and then I just added a little more, you know, what I needed for what I needed for. And from there on, I was able to do the job. After that, that was my first job. They literally said, when I was there putting in the trim, the painter canceled. She said, oh my God, do you paint? I'm not kidding you. This is the same first job. She said, do you paint? And I said, yeah, I know how to paint. She was like, how much would you charge me to paint the entire house? And I said, the entire house, the inside. I was like, okay. So again, I just looked up how much it was. At this time, I'm still not, you know, looking at the percentage or adding overhead, anything that you learn when you learn business and everything like that. So I was just on the fly, gave her another number. This time, like I knew she didn't know my situation. I was like, oh my goodness, I need rent. This is amazing that this is happening right now. Let me do it. And at the time, you just, you know, go with the punches, you're going with the flow. So I was like, okay, this is gonna work. So I painted the entire house. It literally took me about a week and a half because I was by myself. It was a 3-bedroom house, 2 bathrooms, living room, dining room, and a kitchen. So I did all of it one color, so like a gray. Then her husband was spray washing the outside or power spraying. They didn't realize that he thought it was dirty and he was actually removing the paint and the aluminum siding was showing. So now they needed to paint the exterior. Who do you think she asked to paint the exterior?
Wow.
That was literally the project that made me start and be like, oh my goodness, like people really do stay loyal. People, if you give them good work and you give them the work that they're asking of and you treat their house with respect as if it's your own and as if, you know, you would come back as a woman. And I'm sorry, this is where my superpower and where I use this to my advantage. I know I'm going to check this spot, that spot. You forgot that, you forgot that. So I'm already doing that. You know what I mean? Because I know I would want that. Right. So when I was delivering my regular normal service, I don't know, it's just how I am, how I would want it. And it turned into great customer service, to attention to detail, to dependability, to recommending, to I'm gonna give them your number after I'm finished, you know, to that type of loyalty. And I appreciate that, and the callbacks and the recommendations. Honestly, everything that I've done has been word of mouth, or people that definitely some people have hit me in my DM and hired me from over state, and hey, I've seen you on YouTube, and I get those once in a while, but you know, definitely the loyal customers, I appreciate all of them, and they got me here. Yeah, that first project was definitely amazing to just be stuck at a house, and people would come, and I understand, I see here contractors, I'm still at da-da-da, and I'm like, you still making money, what you talking about?
Yeah. Get that money. When you still there, you still getting some money. Listen, she builds things, man. His voice is Hot 937, hot937.com. And there's been so much to say about this because, like you said, it's a male-dominated industry. And you got your break just on doing a gig on a whim, not even knowing, kind of learning along the way, which is something that, you know, I say sometimes you're not going to know all the answers, but still start. You know, people wonder when's the perfect time to start. And just from the testimony, I mean, right now, just start. Figure it out as you go. Because if you think long, you're thinking wrong. That's just my theory on things. And I feel like you were in a situation where your back was kind of against the wall. You didn't know where that red money was coming from. And then boom, one thing after the other, after the other, after the other, because you stepped out on faith. We have to believe, one, that if good things are going to happen, those good things are supposed to happen for us, right? And you have a talent. You identified your talent and you identified your passion. And you said, you know what, I like to do this stuff, so I'm going to turn it into a business. Some people might think it's the simplest thing because, you know, you like to work on things in the house. You like to build things. You like to make some things look different. And some people, that's, you know, that's what I like to do. That could be your money maker, that you're your own boss. You're not punching a clock for someone else. You're making your own demands. You're, you know, dictating your own salary.
Yes.
And I think it's a blessing when you identify that, and then you can step out on it and do some great things with it. Like, this is history in the making. In all honesty, history in the making, because it's very rare that you see, you know, women, especially Black or Latino women, doing what you're doing right now. And it's so outside the box. And that's why I was like, oh, yeah, she's coming on the show. But
I appreciate you having me on the show, right. Yes.
Now, let's dig a little bit deeper now. Let's talk about your most difficult job at this time. You were talking about climbing into some crawl spaces and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? Just the possibility of some rodents, some snakes, something like that being down there. I'm like, nah, y'all can have this job, but you did all of that. How?
Oh my goodness. So when you say difficult can be mental or physical. So which way you want to go? Because like I said, being a business owner, you got difficult both ways.
We're gonna do both.
Oh well, we'll go difficult with the mental. From one business owner and one business owner to the next, or potential business owner, the customer is always right. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Keep a level head. You gotta keep a level head. Understand that, you know, yes, as a business owner, you are the owner of the business, but they are the one paying your bills.
Yes.
You know, like that's definitely something that I've learned from one of my most difficult clients. So about that, mentally, like I said, you just got to make sure that you are responding the correct way. Don't get too emotional with it, because at the end of the day, like you said, and like we know, you, as a business person, if this is something you're doing that you love, your skill is how can I say this? Your skill is definitely respected by the price that you put out there. Your skill is definitely is respected by them even wanting to hire you. So that goes without knowing. And then you having the passion behind it, you got to understand that when you're doing a job, you got to make sure that just because you have all that, you got to make sure you do that with and listening to how they want you to do it. So even though you can do it, you can do this and everything like that, you still got to do it the way that they want it to be done. Because mentally, if you just be a know-it-all and trying to run your business, then your customer is never going to have, you're not having any satisfaction rate, you know? So, but physically, a hard job, definitely. Sometimes when I travel, just that part of traveling is a little bit difficult. Like I said, I am a single mother, so that is a little bit hard on me, but I still love it. My kids understand, and they are definitely my cheerleaders behind me, and they support me 100%. But I definitely did a job one time when I was not She Builds Things, when I was working for another company, right? And I felt like they were testing me, and there goes that, male dominated industry. So this homeowner had over 3,000 square feet of bamboo flooring that we were bringing into the home. And yes, we definitely had a Ford Transit vehicle. And because of like the load and how the weight was, we were only able to put about 75 cases inside that, because bamboo flooring, it's heavy, you know what I mean? So the weight, and I'm not even kidding you. I was bringing, me and my other person that I was working with, we were bringing them up the steps, these cast iron steps that was like a disappearing, no stairwell, no railing staircase in $1 million home. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, and then all these people on they smoke big, just smoking a cigarette, watching us. And I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And, we did it. Like, that was just like, oh, and it was in Virginia, sweating 115 degrees because of the of moving, but yeah, that was difficult, definitely. But most of the jobs that I do and I take on, I now have learned from being pressed against time and things like that. I definitely try to give a realistic time so that it doesn't become hard on me. So that I'm telling you this to say that I've learned from definitely other difficult jobs that I've had, maybe where the customer, like I said, goes back to the mental, the customer's always right. You told me this, and it's like, ugh, you know what I mean? So to make myself definitely not under that type of mental stress and physical stress of, gotta rush it and, not giving quality, but I always give quality, not gonna say that. But you know what I mean? You have to make sure that you're able to, deliver on all avenues, like I said, but being the person that wears all those hats, I try to spread myself out as well as I can so that I'm not overly frustrated and I don't take on more than 2 jobs as a single person. But, team gets bigger. I can definitely get bigger with more and more projects, but I like quality. So I definitely will be making sure that, whoever joins the team is definitely on that same page, because I put passion behind this. I do stay up. I dream about it. I talk about it. I'm writing it. The logo that I designed, it came in a dream in my head. You know what I mean? And I wrote it down in the middle of the night. Yeah, I still have this piece of paper where I wrote it down, and I made it out of a dream. And I designed my logo, drew it out, and everything. Went to Lids, digitized it, and now it's here. So I wanted to say something a little bit with something that you said before about starting up. And when people are out there, and if you have a job if you have a passion that you're good at, and a skill that you're good at, and you put passion behind it, you'll never be broke. That's how my mentality is. If you have a skill and you put passion behind it, you'll never be broke. You know what I mean? You could be the best hairstylist, the best baker, the best, photographer, whatever you have, just put your passion behind it and you will never be broke. Another big tip, get your business license. It's, I don't know, per state and per city, but $50, less than $100, your LLC, get it established, because getting that established, even if you're not ready to start, having that date is like a birthday. It's like you're growing up, you know what I mean? And the maturity of a business it happens with the start date. So even if that business license has to stay in the drawer for the first year, and then the next year you might get on it, or even if it has to stay there for 2 years, you have to have 2 years of reportable, tax income anyways. But at least you had that business license started, and you can still reflect on that date. You know what I mean? That's just something that I learned, that because when I was working under those gentlemen, I could have had my business license while I was working with them. You know what I mean? And that could have just been, my startup, and Buildz thing would have been 4 years right now. But it's okay. Everything happens for a reason. I'm not mad about the way that it is. But this may be a reason for somebody to hear this. And that is definitely get your business license. Even if you're not ready to get started, at least your date is stamped, and you know what I mean? That's helpful. I hope so.
What you did, all right, this voice is hot937, hot937.com. She builds things, right? What you touched on was something that I touch on all the time: information sharing.
Okay.
There is a tendency, and we talk about this, and I talk about it over and over and over again. There's a tendency, especially in our community, to not share information. Now, it seems like because you were in a male-dominated field, there was a highlighted effort to not share information, particularly with you.
It was like a give and take. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be raw. I would get the information from the people that wanted to flirt with me and wanted to teach me and wanted to just be in my face. I definitely got that angle. Then I got the ones where some people were a little bit reserved because they were like, oh my God, she's actually really good. So I had it on both ends of the spectrum. I definitely had, when I was still working at Home Depot, I had a contractor, one of my really good friends. He was throwing up on me with information. He's the one who taught me everything. Literally, get this, get that, go get your contract, get that, get like everything. He never thought that I was a competition. You know what I mean? Because he definitely was making probably 6-7 figures. And he was 100% so open book with me. All the gentlemen that, the old men from my Home Depot that I worked with, that they would give me their information. I'm like, hey, I'm working on this. I go to my guy in electrical and I'll ask them, and they know that, it depends on like your energy. And I don't say it depends on your energy. You shouldn't be not sharing information with people. Like, why you know what I mean? Like, I'm very big on growth, and I'm very big on, if I can help me scratch my back, scratch yours. It's not even if I scratch my back, scratch yours, but it's just like, what am I doing with it? You know what I mean? I just let you know, because I know, and like, just keep going. I'm definitely just like always thinking and always trying to, make sure that I learn from my mistakes. But if there's ways that people are telling me to learn from their mistakes, why can't I help somebody else too? My children, listen, they already know a lot of things to avoid, and they are ready, financially for the world and out there and for responsibilities, because anytime that something is happening with me, with the business, with us, I'm 100% a transparent parent, and they are learning lesson. And I'll tell, hey, everybody come here and learning lesson. And my age range, they're 3 years apart, each of them, but they all are on the same page when it comes to reality and common sense. I tell you that much.
Wow. Those things.
They can change. I'm telling you.
hot937.com. And geez, you just touched on so many things, because you're preparing them at an early age, right? Because you're creating your legacy. You understand that this is something that I can pass on. This business I can pass on to my kids, right? So you are laying the bricks, wow, the bricks for your legacy, and you're bringing them along. So you're showing them the ropes as you grow, which is a great thing, because some people, they wait until they get everything in place, and then it's like, okay, come on over here, let me teach you everything that you need to know about the business. You try to do it in one fell swoop. So the way that you're doing it now, they're kind of like, okay. So if they feel left out, they're probably coming to you like, so Mom, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What do you mean to know? You are setting that up the right way, and it's almost setting up your situation for longevity, because they're invested in the business now at a young age. And so they're going to grow as the business grows, and it's going to be a part of them. So they're going to feel like, we have to protect this at all costs, which is such a great thing to do. And that's why I feel like, some people feel that once they get to a certain age, or, they've gotten so comfortable in a job, it's too late to start over. And it's like, nah, you can start right now. You can start right now. I don't care how old you are, you can start right now. And I always reference the story of Colonel Sanders, because he didn't start that he didn't even start trying to get this KFC thing off the ground until he had retired from his job. He was in his 60s, and he had been told no to 1,000 times. It takes one yes. It takes one yes. But what it takes more than that is for you to have an unwavering belief in yourself that it's gonna work. Not I hope that it works. You have to know that it's gonna work. Like, I feel like you went into this knowing and never having a doubt that it was gonna work.
I mean, a lot of people definitely have their outlook on, like, and I always say that, I'm like, you guys act like I'm the richest person in the world, but it's definitely the way I carry myself. I'm rich with knowledge and I'm rich with confidence. So definitely I get that a lot, but I'm not doubtful at all. I come from a very strong woman. My Bobo came from the Cape Verdean Islands, and she definitely taught us how to work and be like, cook, how to sew, how to bake, how to sell stuff, how to do everything. And then I learned more from the handyman that we had, Mr. Joe. And I would just watch him. I had a butter knife, and I was like, can I do this? Can I do that? And I used to take apart my skateboard all the time when I was younger. And that it just was something that I knew was underneath. But like you said, you're never too old to switch, to change. And even if you're in a career or job that you think that you can't start your passion or what you're good at, use that job to fund what you want to be. You know what I mean? Save a little extra money on the side so that you can, you know what I mean? Do what you got to do so that if you don't get that business loan, you at least have a little cushion that you was working for to invest in yourself. You know what I mean? Invest in yourself.
Girl,
I wish people gave me some of this.
Girl, you talking the hustle talk.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I was doing that. I was selling dogs literally, and I was using that money so that I can, you know, get what I gotta get the next tool, do what I gotta do. I was 100% investing in myself. Like,
see, that's so, because a lot of times when people think invest in yourself, they think invest in the look. No, invest in the tools that you need. Invest in the
knowledge
that you need. The knowledge.
Also the research, because like I tell people, because a lot of people ask me, oh, you went to school for this? You know what school I went to? I graduated from YouTube University.
University? There you go.
And I still attend because honestly, I'm never too good to watch another video from somebody else to explain it another way. You know what I mean? And then I even myself, like I said, I'm trying to get my YouTube channel going and everything. I put stuff out there. When I'm doing something and I come against a roadblock, like you said, sharing knowledge, I'll be like, oh, this is a good video. I'll prop my camera up real quick and I'll just talk to the camera. Whether I post it or not, I don't know. But at least I'll be like, that's my mindset. I'm trying to get the word out there, different things. I try to host workshops for women to come to. I've done like 2 of them, but I didn't get anybody to come to. I'm actually trying to do another one where it's just going to be about similar to the one that I had attended, but I'm not trying to focus only on 2 avenues. I want everybody to come because you never know who you need. You never know who you need on your team. And I'm trying to do it before the year starts so that people can go into the next year ready and eager to, like we are saying, get ready, start that business. It's never too late, and just meet some more people. I will have more details. We could definitely talk about that another time and get into that. But I'll let you know.
I want to be a part of that. Absolutely.
All right, I got you.
So let's make it work. Man, she builds things, right? His voices is Hot 93.7, hot937.com. And we touched on a number of things here, you know, the adversity, the roadblocks, everything, the mindset, right? I'm an avid reader. I like to read a lot. And I tell people all the time that, you know, one of my favorite books is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? And this book, it talks about mindset, because you have to have a different type of mindset even to do what you're doing right now. And unbeknownst to you, you already had that mindset where some people may have to go through that developmental, they may have to go through that paradigm shift to stop thinking a certain way, but you had it in you already, where you believed enough in yourself and you said, you know what, this is going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. There's no one who's going to stop me. I'm the only person who can stop me. What words of encouragement would you give to some women who might think, they may even be thinking about doing what you're doing, but they've been talked out of it from the negative self-talk or the friends telling them that they sound crazy. Oh, that's not a job for a woman. Some of the things that maybe even you heard along the way. What words of encouragement would you give them, especially if they're just sitting there like, I really want to do this, but people are telling me I'm crazy?
Well, for one, get away from those people if you can. But no, honestly, it's a lot of self-talk and self-doubt and encouraging. And if you can't get yourself to hear, I definitely will use my voice to tell you 100% you can do anything. Because the thing about the way that this world was made, and I know everyone was so intrigued at how all these women that were just amazingly getting these different achievements, and it's like, oh my God, a woman. I'm definitely proud of them, but it's like, bro, we can do anything. Like, I don't want to, oh my God, because she's a woman. No, it's amazing because she's a human being, like, period. Like, we just, you know what I mean? We are super women. We make you guys, like, we make humans. You know what I mean? Like, we are super humans because we make humans. You get what I mean? But anyways, I will definitely give the advice of to do your research. Don't take the self-doubt. Don't take the doubt from anybody else. I definitely had encouragement from some people, and I definitely had discouragement from other people. And the people that discouraged me or just told me, oh, just do this for now, or tell me to not dream so big, but dream a little smaller. And I'm just like, no, because I can do it. I know. Or I say, I always say this. If you know me, you know me. I'm gonna say this. My mother prays for me, and it really works. Like, it really works. And I'm very big on making sure that you don't just put your eggs in somebody else's basket, because you have to have that plan B or that plan C, D, E. I am very versatile when it comes to being able to do things. Like, I don't know if it's like survival mode or it's just because I'm eager to always learn things, from changing a tire to doing what I do now, to baking, to cooking, to doing hair, to, babysitting, whatever, being a mother. I literally can do a lot of different things, and it's definitely in you if you have it. And whatever it is that you have in you, it's in you, and you just need to put a little bit of effort to believe in yourself that you can do it. But women, we don't have any limit. I don't feel like we have any limitations. I have 2 daughters, and I'm sorry, when they have difficulties or any obstacles, I'll be like, they know what to expect from me. Like, you really want to complain to me right now? You sure? Because you already know what I'm about to say. But, they got thick skin. We got that thick skin. And about being an avid reader, I would definitely say you have to get some, if you can't motivate yourself, if you can read some books of people that are out there that can give you some motivation. 50 Cent's Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter is a book that I have. That's a good book. And literally, I was listening to, my brother was sending me these podcasts of Les Brown. And I know it's old. And, my boyfriend listened to all of it a long time ago, but I just never heard of this man. Yeah. He will make you think that, not say think, he will make you do what you need to do. If you need to get some motivation, Google Les Brown.
Yep.
Elliot Brown. Les Brown is a really good.
I'm gonna tell you another one. Eric Thomas. He's a hip hop preacher, right? And he said something, and this was one of his first speeches that went viral. And he said, when you want it as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful, right? But you have to want it fully. You can't kind of want it, because you don't kind of want to breathe. It's something you have to do, right? So, and I was fortunate enough to meet him, and I met Les Brown. When I tell you, these guys, it's different when you're in the room.
The aura. Yeah. I have an aura too, a book on auras, yes.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like we have to change up, because a lot of times you have to change up what you're feeding yourself, and not just physically feeding, but mentally feeding yourself to really do this. Because sometimes, I'm huge. I'm into sports like crazy, but I would go to sleep sometimes with just ESPN or, some type of sports program playing, wake up to sports, this, that, and the other. And then I started going to sleep with some of these speeches playing. And it's different. Your subconscious really takes this stuff, and you start to have this lion mentality where it's like, okay, full state ahead, nothing stopping me. So when you have those moments, you feel like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. You want to take a break. Stop taking a break on yourself. Stop taking a break on yourself when you're struggling to take a day off from your job. You know, you struggle with, I want to call out, but I got to go to work. But you'll call out on yourself. You know, you placed the best bet, and I say this over and over again, you place the best bet that anyone can place. Is better than Powerball, anything else. When you bet on yourself, you place that bet on yourself, you will always cash out as long as you put that faith and that belief behind it. You have to put the hard work behind it. You're gonna work 8 to 10 hours for someone else for some pay that you're not happy with. Why not do the same thing for yourself? And you can possibly fire your boss. You know, I'm in the real estate right now, so I tell people, fire your landlord. Fire your landlord. Let me help you fire your landlord. Because we have these myths, and I hate the term too good to be true. It sounds too good to be true. I hate that term because you already believe that nothing good is supposed to happen for you when someone presents you with something good and you say it sounds too good to be true. You've already dismissed good things from your life. Let's stop dismissing good things. Let's go out there and grab it. Because if it's good enough, as I said before, for the Waltons and that Walmart brand and the Sam Club's brand, if it's good enough for Bill Gates, if it's good enough for all of these guys, and it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. So we have to understand that. We have to believe that. I mean, I couldn't believe it at first. I was like, wait a minute, Michi, what are you telling me? He was like, man, she's contracting and she's building this stuff. She was telling me about all this stuff that she's working on. She added on to this house and she did this and she built this, she framed up this house. And I'm like, she? I said, you know what? Let me kick myself in the head because I'm thinking wrong right now. And I was like, how can I get in touch with her? He was like, yeah, that's what I came in here to do. I came to give you your number, man. Y'all need to connect because, you know, you're doing this, she's doing that. I think it'll be a good thing, man. Let's talk about this stuff. And I feel like it's motivation because, you know, more than just saying it, right? People can look at you, people who look like you can look at what you're doing and say, yep, because she did it, I can do it. See, more than just telling people that they can do it, by example, you jumped out there in the water to let them know, hey, you're not going to sink.
No, not at all. Not now, not in 2021. No, us women, we swimming fast like Michael Phelps.
and this is the information age, so saying that you don't know is not acceptable. It's not. Just like you said, go attend YouTube University because we can get on YouTube to look up fight videos. We can get on YouTube and look up drama, watch repeats of our favorite shows. We can get on the internet and research when the next Jordans are coming out. We could do background checks on people when we meet them. Oh, what's your name? You know, so you can find out if they got a crazy history, but you can't find out how to do the things that you really want to do. It's the same type of search. It's just putting in that search engine. And see,
you gotta make sure you put your time to what you actually, you know, you go on your phone right now, you got an iPhone, and you can see how much time that you're investing on Instagram and all the time that you're investing on Facebook, all the apps that you invest your time on, and then subtract that from the 24 hours a day, minus the hours that you sleep, and then you see how much time you're giving yourself.
Yep, because it's, to me, and I've said this before, I've changed the term to action management, not time management. Action management. Because, right, we all have 24 hours. That 24 hours is there. What actions are you going to put in every single second of those 24 hours? Because we get the same 24 hours as Bill Gates and all of these wealthy guys, everyone, even the Jay-Z's, you name it, we get the same 24 hours. Their actions are different from our actions. They're doing things that we won't do so that they can have the things that we can't have. And you only
That's the Les Brown. That's the Les Brown line.
That's the Les Brown. I knew you would know it.
That's the Les Brown line.
Right? Because this is the thing. We have to stop. We have to stop being in our own way. Just like we'll blow the horn in traffic, blow the horn at yourself. Get out of your own way. Toss yourself to the side, because most times we will point the finger at someone else and blame them, but look at all the fingers pointing back at you when you're doing that, because only you can stop you, right? And I commend you for not stopping yourself.
Listen, my son thinks I'm crazy for that saying. I always say to him, he's gonna laugh when he hears this. I always say to him, who's better than you? You're not better than you, so you need to go back out there because you ain't even better than you.
Exactly.
I don't know if that makes sense, but that is something I say, and I'm serious about that, because if you think that you can do better, then you're not better than you, so go do better than what you think that you can do, and keep going.
Exactly.
The sky is not the limit is in the mind. Like,
you could go the sky and beyond, because really the sky is only as far as you can see. Think beyond what you can see. Think beyond what you can see, because there's something beyond what you can see.
Oh, yes, sir.
You get caught up in, I have to see it to believe it. No, you have to believe it to see it. See, and that's where we stop ourselves, because if we can't physically see it, then we don't believe it's possible. But when you think it, you can turn it into a reality. Any thought that you have, any dream that you have, when you put that work behind it, you put that machine, and that machine is a machine of you. You put you as the machine behind your hopes and your dreams, and they will become reality. I believe in vision boards, and I started believing in vision boards when a guy told me, create a vision board. And at the time I was like materialistic. I'm like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. And he laughed at it. He said, okay, so why don't you just take all of that stuff off the vision board and make it a reality? He said, that car that you want, put it in your driveway. He said, pull that right into your driveway. He said, and he started laughing. He was like, man, I mean, this is crazy. And so he broke it down to me, and I was like, you know what? This makes sense. Of course, we want some of the materialistic things, but what do you want to accomplish? And I was big on like, what's your 5-year plan? And a young lady we spoke to last week who owns Rhythm Cooking Company, she was like, what's your 1-week plan? And she was like, every week, she was like, because you're giving yourself too much time in 1 year. You could become complacent. You could drop off. Give it a 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, reset, 7 days, reset. And so I've kind of adopted that. And it's a dope theory. It's a dope theory to have. Man,
yeah, I definitely got weekly goals.
Now, what I want to do is make sure that this isn't the last time that we have you on the show. And especially when you put your conference together that you want to do, the seminar that you want to do, because I want to be a part of that. And I want to invite you back on when you have a date for that and you have it all planned out. But what I want to do now is have you give people the way that they can reach you. If they want some work done, or if someone is interested in maybe becoming a part of the team, how can they get in contact with She Buildz Things?
All right, well, the way to reach me best is definitely via email. I am definitely at shebuildsthings.com. shebuildsthings@gmail.com. I also have Instagram handle, it's She Buildz Things, Facebook, She Buildz Things, YouTube, She Buildz Things, TikTok, She Buildz Things, Pinterest, She Buildz Things. You can look me up on Thumbtack if you have Thumbtack and you'd like to book me. She Buildz Things. I do things from flooring, tiling, framing, painting, drywall, electrical, plumbing, custom builds, you name it, shiplap, decks. I would like you guys to definitely check out my YouTube channel because there's some dope things up there that I've done, and I would definitely appreciate the follow. And yeah, I am available for hire. I travel Connecticut. I'm here to stay, but I'm definitely able to travel.
Hey, listen. See, we're going to do this right now because I'm going to follow She Buildz Things right now. You see what I'm saying? I'm not playing this game. I'm not playing this game because I know that I can't build nothing. So I'm going to call She Buildz Things to help my next build happen, all right? We're going to make this happen. Listen, this has been an incredible episode of Voices. This is part 1 of She Buildz Things on Voices because part 2 is coming very, very soon. I want to thank you for taking the time out. I want to thank you for answering my message. Well, me answering your message. I want to thank myself for answering those messages because you reached out to me. And I definitely thank you for taking the time out to be on the show. And I look forward to talking to you again. I wish you much success. I'm already referring someone to you right now as we speak. So I'm going to pass your number on to him, and we're going to make some great things happen. You're going to make some great things happen. Thank you for being an inspiration to us.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
His voices, keep it right here. It's Hot 93.7. Peace.